Hello?
Yeah, dude. Is this Jimmy Love?
Yes, and you are?
Yeah, this is Hunter. Hunter Biden. You know my dad, right?
Oh, so you're Joe Biden's boy, huh?
That's me, dude. I need your help bad. I mean, I got some troubles, man, and I need your help. And, I mean, my dad said that you were the man to go to when I get things done. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I
slow down.
Fix, dude. Can you help
Tell me what your problem is.
Only a ton of stuff, man. Dude, I got the heat on me really bad. I got the paparazzi trying to track me down for the National Enquirer. Some bullshit story. I got the feds looking for me probably to testify on something. I don't know. I mean, dude, I'm not sure, but I think I probably got some Russian black market goons looking for me for payback on a score on coke in the Ukraine. Dude, I have everyone up my ass. I have some bimbo bitch looking for my ass on some paternity suit. Can you believe this shit? And Trump is out there making jokes about me, saying, "Where's Biden? Where's Biden?" Yeah, I got you.
Just calm down, okay? Just calm down.
Dude, you have no idea what it's like to be me. I have suffered so much, and it's not my fault. Ever since I got out of Yale Law School, I've had it tough, man. My dad is always up my ass, throwing all these impossible things at me, and all I want to do is the things that I'm entitled to do. You know what I mean? I mean, things like that I was born to
Hunter,
do. Oh, man, wanted me to go back to work for some of these dumbass law firms. Dude, I
Hunter,
told him
what is it exactly that you want me to do for you?
Dude, I need some help. You gotta help me out. I mean, my dad's my old man. He said you could fix all this bullshit that's happening to me. Get out from under all this heat. I mean, I just got married to a South African babe, and holy shit, does her body rock. I mean, you should see the tits on this bitch. Dude, I just need a drink. Yeah, and you know what? I need to score some coke. Dude, can you hook me up with some coke? Do you have any? I mean, we could get together at your pad, and we could do some lines of coke, and get some babes. Oh, dude, I bet we could party big time. Yeah, you can put me up at that Ivory Tusk place. It's a great big place that you got. I hear it's like a fortress, man. Just you and me,
Hunter,
buds. Dad can play patty cake with a fucking press.
Hunter,
you gotta help me.
Hunter, do you have some place to go?
Dude, I can't go back to my dad's
Do you
house.
have no place to turn to?
I get all kinds of grief. My old lady is after me to get child support. My sister-in-law won't have anything to do with me since she found out that that skank that is saying I knocked her up. My sister-in-law fails to remember that I started shacking up with her right after my brother kicked the bucket, and my old lady was still married to me. Dude, I need to hit on something. I mean, I'm feeling the itch.
The itch?
Yeah, man, the itch, you know.
What is the itch?
I mean, I'm feeling too sober, and the reality of it all is just closing in on me. Dude, you gotta help me.
No, Hunter, I don't need to help you. Okay.
Dude, I need some help.
You've tied your own noose around your neck on this
I mean,
one.
my dad's my old man. He said you could fix all this
What
bullshit.
about the Ukraine mess that you've gotten yourself into?
Ukraine? What are you talking about?
Burisma? The board you served
Oh,
on?
yeah, dude. My dad set that gig up for me. He told me all I had to do was sit on some stupid board and collect some dough. Man, you should have seen the women that I bagged every night in the Ukraine. Now, that country has something in the water. Those babes were hot, and they all needed some loving from Biden. But, dude, check this out. I'm done with all that. I got too much press action on me right now.
Stay calm.
Plus,
you need to stay calm,
like
and you need to avoid the press.
Dude,
That's definitely true. That's not going to help you at all. But you know, eventually, one way or the other, you're going to have to face the music.
Dude, can you hide me?
And
I got too much press action on me right now.
Where are you now?
Dude, I'm staying with my homie, Beto O'Rourke, but he's getting kind of weird on me. So catch this. I got this creepy call from the Clintons. Once from Hillary, and then another call from Bill. He said I could hang out with him for a while. Bill said that I could even go with him to this special island where he can make game on some underage chicks. But dude, I'm not into that shit. And besides, too many friends of the Clintons end up accidentally committing suicide. You know what I mean? Dad told me to stay clear of the Clintons. They're like toxic.
You need to stay clear of the Clintons, that's for sure. And so, where exactly are you?
If you could just put me up at the Ivory Tusk for a few nights. I mean, I got this friend of a friend who said that you could make some stuff happen, and you've helped out lots of guys like me in the past. I mean, I'm behind the 8 ball, man, and I got to... Oh, dude, I gotta go. Man, I'll call you later. I got some paparazzi. Just spotted me in this phone booth. Dude, I gotta split.
You know, all I can say is that as much as I don't care for Joe Biden, after talking to his son, I feel sorry for Joe. Yeah, he's got problems. Okay, now we get to the impeachment side of what'll go on for the next 5 years of Donald Trump. The thing you've got to understand about impeachment is the Constitution says very little about impeachment itself. It's found in Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution, if you want to look it up. It says, "The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors." But one more thing before we jump all the way in to impeachment. And that is all this mess over Ukraine and Biden and what Trump said or didn't say or threatened and what Biden said and did for his son and all that. Stop and think about this. Why are we talking about this? Because not any of this has to do with platform. Not any of this has to do with what people want to do for this country or don't want to do this. It's a total distraction. I'm not blaming Donald Trump on this. Donald Trump is defending himself. But the Democrats have us constantly distracted. Hey, look over here. Oh, look over there. Look over here. Woo-wee. But don't look where you're supposed to be looking, by all means. Let's not talk about the federal budget or the budget that doesn't exist. Let's not talk about federal spending. Let's not talk about the money that we owe that our, who knows, great-great-great-grandchildren will never be able to pay back. Let's not talk about the devaluation of the American currency. No. Let's talk about whether Biden got his son a job or not, or whether Biden twisted somebody's arm, or whether Trump is an evil dictator, or all this other stuff, all this other baloney. Stop and think about how much time is wasted in talking about all of these things that are little satellites floating around when we're not talking about what we need to be talking about. Now, let me say a little bit about the impeachment thing so that you understand it clearly. The impeachment clause in the Constitution is very narrow, okay? It's very narrow, and it's mostly kind of undefined. It's kind of been defined over the ages. And one thing that we have to remember, or the one thing that we forget, is the proceedings of how it's done. And one of the reasons it's easy to forget is because we've never actually prosecuted anybody in impeachment. I take that back. Okay, the first thing to understand about the impeachment is that Donald Trump is not being impeached in the House of Representatives right now, and this is October of 2019. The proceedings will continue, but right now he's not. Right now, what they've opened up is an inquiry of impeachment. That basically is the same as opening up, say, a criminal investigation on, say, a guy robs a bank, okay? And you've listed him as a person of interest. We haven't investigated him. The cops haven't investigated him. Nobody's done anything. They've just listed him as a person of interest in the case of an investigation. So that's where we are in this idea of an inquiry of impeachment. They're going to just, this is before, because after they do that, then they'll send it to a subcommittee. Usually it's not in the Constitution that they have to, but it's usually the Judiciary Committee, and they'll meet and they'll convene and they'll dig and they'll bleed this, they'll bleed that like a stuck pig. I mean, they'll milk it for all they can get out of the media and donations and all of this stuff. But then once that subcommittee is done with it, then they'll pass it. They'll package it up real nice and neat and send it off after it's been through the media a million times. And then they'll send it to the House, and the House will vote on it. Now, the thing is, right now in the House of Representatives, the Republicans have 197 chairs, and the Democrats have 235, and then there's 2 independents. And this is the House of Representatives. So, and in the House of Representatives, to get an impeachment, which is the same as an indictment, it's not a conviction, it's an indictment, all you have to have is a simple majority. They have to have more men than us to pass it. Now, when it gets over to the Senate, then the Senate is in charge of a conviction. A conviction sounds very serious, doesn't it? Well, it's not. A conviction, if you're convicted in the Senate, then your sentence is to be removed from office. You don't go to jail. You don't get criminal prosecution. You don't pay any fines. You just have to leave office. That's the penalty. Now, if they do get the Senate, which right now the Senate stands at 53 Republicans chairs, and the Democrats have 49 fellows in those chairs. So they're real close. They're not, all they have to gain is a few chairs and they could win the Senate. That's why I say this next race, this 2020 race, is going to be a concentration on the Senate. Now, in the case of the Senate, they have to have a super majority to get those numbers to convict him. So that means that they have to have about 67 chairs. That they could always get some of the turncoat Republicans to do it, but if they win enough seats, if they had 67, then they could go like that and get their little conviction done, and then Donald Trump would be tossed out of office. I don't have a worry about that because I do not believe that we're going to lose the Senate, but they're going to try damn hard to win the Senate. You watch and see. Here's the other thing I want you to remember, that in all of our time since 1789 to now, we've had 64 proceedings of impeachment, mostly against judges and a few presidents. The presidents that have been looked at impeachment is John Tyler, which it didn't go anywhere, and Andrew Johnson, that did get an impeachment, and so did Bill Clinton. Andrew Johnson's went to the Senate and he won by one vote of being convicted by throwing out of office. But that's just all of the Yankees that were trying to get Johnson because he didn't want to persecute the South. That's another story for another show. Anyway, John Tyler and Bill Clinton and Nixon. Now, Nixon left office before they actually went to impeachment proceedings. And then Bill Clinton was impeached, but he was not convicted. We have never had any presidents convicted. We had 64 proceedings in all, 19 passed with articles of impeachment, and 8 were removed for office. The 8 that were removed were federal judges in the past for corruption. So this whole impeachment thing, remember, it's a big joke and it's a fundraiser. So folks, don't worry about all this impeachment stuff. This is just the Democrats up to their usual games. They're just in a big fundraising thing. I gave you the 5 steps of the Democratic strategy. We'll talk more about those. And of course, I'll be modifying those as time goes on. But wanted to end this thing with a little bit of a interesting fact. So Obama, let's bring our Obama guy over here. So Obama held the record for the most donations in a quarter. And it was $70 million in a quarter. I don't know exactly what quarter that was, but he got $70 million. That's quite a bit of money, and we have to applaud the DNC for being crafty enough. That's what I'm saying. Don't think the Democrats aren't up to some smart strategy when it comes to funding. They're damn good at it. But he got $70 million. Now, in this newest quarter, Donald Trump got $125 million. $125 million, $70 million. So now that looks like Obama is in second place. Thank you, Mr. Trump. Thank you for that $125 million that will go straight into your campaign to defeat the Democrats. And no help from the Republicans whatsoever. It's all Donald Trump. We'll catch you next time on BarbWire Strategy. Right, Obama? Right, Mr. Trump? Yep, they agree. 70, 125.